Friends, it's Jill here with the Hometown Homestead, and today I'm back in the laundry room. And this is a little bit different than where you typically see me, but I want to share with you something that has so far changed my life in the laundry room. And having 5 kids and a husband that likes to get dirty, 7 people using one machine to do all of our laundry has been quite an interesting change. So today let's chat about the GE all-in-one combo washer and dryer in one. We're going to talk about what I love and what I don't love. So if you're curious if there's any cons to this beauty, stick around because I'm about to get into it. Before I tell you about what I love and what I don't love, I want to talk to you quickly about the specs of this if you haven't heard of a machine like this before. This is a washer and dryer in one. So all the clothes go in, you push the button, comes on, and you set the timer for your mode, whether that's whites or any normal cycles, bulkies, towels, whatever. And it gives you a time. So if I say towels, it says 2 hours and 50 minutes. Now, does that mean it'll take exactly that long? No, because it senses how much moisture is still in the air or in your clothes, and it might add a few more or less minutes depending. But that's just a general guideline. It's usually within 5 minutes or so. Sometimes it's done sooner, sometimes it's done later. It would just depend on how many towels you shoved in there. So that would be varying on how you're using it. Now, I can also go in here and I can turn off the dry feature if I just want to wash something. And for us, this is a big deal because with so many kids, sometimes there's stains or we wash a lot of wool that we want to wash and not dry. So you can always just turn off one of the features, whether that's the wash or dry, and just use it as a typical standard standalone machine if that's something that you're needing to do. One great thing about this machine is that it comes with a 10-year warranty on the motor, a 1-year full warranty on everything, but then it also comes with a 5-year warranty on its heat pump system, which is a really, really important factor in how this machine actually dries. It is ventless, so it doesn't have that huge vent pipe going out your wall that can collect all of that lint and possibly cause house fires if it's not properly cleaned. So that's gone. The way that this machine actually removes the moisture from your clothes is by using a heat pump system. The air actually circulates up through, it comes through your big lint filter to pull out all of the lint here on this side. And then it pulls through this back filter. And when it comes to this back filter, all the moisture drops out before it gets cycled back in. The moisture dropping out is then pumped out of your machine through the drain pipe that it would use on a normal washer. So there's no need to vent that air to the outside just based on the use of a heat pump instead of a traditional cooling system, which was a really cool thing for me. One of the other super cool features about this is it plugs into a standard outlet, which makes it easier for you to move your laundry room anywhere you want around your house, as long as you have access to water hookups. So if you have hot water, cold water, and a drain pipe there, which you can have put in a lot easier than running that huge vent, then this can go in closets, on second stories, or whatever's gonna be most convenient for you. Because of the technology in this machine, it also uses less than half of the electricity that a traditional washer and dryer would use. So while this machine is gonna cost a little bit more money upfront, it's gonna save you on electric usage as you use it on down the road, which is a really big bonus as well. Another thing that GE has done here is they put this smart dispense system in. You can add a single dose of detergent or fabric softener, or you can pull it out a little further and you can add up to 50 ounces of the detergent that you use back here in the back. Now, I personally use a very concentrated detergent, and they allow you to customize which kind of detergent you're using, whether you need to use more or less with each load in through the actual menu system of the machine itself. So I have mine set to a very low amount. That 50 ounces is likely to last me 6 months or more, and I won't be using nasty detergent to drip out of the bottle, make my machine a mess, or has something else for my kids to get into. This also allows me to free up more space in my laundry room on my shelf because now I can take that bottle off and put it away. An obvious bonus of an all-in-one system is that there's no need for 2 machines anymore. So I have taken over this space. Let me turn it right here. that used to be for my dryer, and I put my laundry sorter back there and our sock basket. If you've seen my minimizing video before on how I work with laundry, you'll know that sock basket is a huge win for us. If you haven't seen that video, I'll make sure to link it at the end because it has changed my life as well. So the 4 things that I love so far about this machine, number 1 is obvious. There is no moving the clothes. Now, I hope that most of you are better than me, but I'm not sure that it is the case. I think I'm pretty normal about this. I used to put my laundry in the washer, get busy with the kids or in the garden or whatever was going on, forget that the laundry was in there and leave it at least until the end of the day. But I definitely wasn't instantly moving it to the dryer and getting it dried and pushed out. If you're that person, then this machine might not save you time. The cycles can be a little bit longer than the 2 machines independently, depending on which machine you're using. A Speed Queen would definitely be faster. That was actually the one we were considering and had our eyes on for years when ours broke down. But then this came out and changed all of that, of course. But so if you have a Speed Queen, you're gonna see that this is a little bit slower. Now, that said, with my style and habit and the way we live around here, this saves a huge amount of time because my clothes are washed and dried in less time than I would leave them sitting in the washer hoping to get to the dryer. So if you are like me and that is you, then this is definitely going to save you time, and that is one of the hugest bonuses for our house. The second thing that I love about this machine is that I can leave it open and let my kids throw their clothes in here all day long, basically making that hamper obsolete at this point. And then go in here at night, go to my menu settings, and I can set a time delay, friends. So just like your dishwasher, you can set it to run in the middle of the night and wake up to clean dishes. That's what I'm doing here. This has changed everything. So what I do is I set an 8.5-hour delay on this machine, and I wake up to a text on my phone, which I'll talk about in a minute, that tells me that I have 5 more minutes before my clothes are dry. So every single morning, we're waking up to freshly washed and dried clothes. And if you have kids like mine, even though we have a ton of clothes, they always want the same new shirt that they wore the day before. And right now it's clean every single morning because this guy is washing it every night and it's ready to go when we wake up. Fabulous. I cannot believe it's taken this long for a time delay system to come to laundry, but just like it changes the way we do dishes, it changes the way I do laundry. And I wouldn't care if it took 4 hours for my machine to work. If it's working overnight, who cares? It is processed and completely done when I wake up. So I fold 1 load in the morning, and then some days, depending on what we're doing, we might do a second load. But for most days, we're doing 1 load every night, and that's covering all of the laundry usage that we have here at the house. Another huge bonus with this machine is that it is dry every single time the thing turns off. So you don't have to worry about leaving the door open for it to dry out because the drying system itself is automatically drying all that out. This should prevent the stink and nastiness that comes along with all washers, whether they're top load or not. We actually used to have a top load, and in one of my nesting phases, I made my husband take the drum out. We took it out into the yard and scrubbed down the outside. If you haven't seen how disgusting those things get because of the water that stays in them, I really don't even recommend looking, but you might hire somebody to come clean it because it's absolutely gross, the amount of nasty scum that is on the outside. There's no way your cleaning cycles are getting those clean. This machine takes care of that because it dries it on its own. It also has a microband ring right here to prevent mold from coming into the machine itself. So they have taken care of that factor that comes along with front loaders as well as the drying itself. The last thing that I want to talk about is a love, which there are many more, but I'm going to keep it short, is that I have an app on my phone that keeps track of the load cycle, and it also keeps track of the smart dispense system. So I can monitor, or it will send me an alert when I need to add detergent or softener, but it also sends me an alert when there's 5 minutes until my laundry's done, when it's done, and then if it hasn't been taken out in 30 minutes, they send another reminder through your phone, through an app, to let you know that your laundry's still in there. As a result of this, we have no wrinkles. No wrinkles. We also have noticed no static in our clothes, and I think that's related to the drying system. We do have a lot of synthetic fibers because my husband's work shirts, and even those have not had the static that we saw previously. So I just want to let you know, we're loving that so far. Things I don't love, and there are a few. One, when you pull the clothes out, they feel slightly, some say moist. I wouldn't call it moist. I would call it humid. When you shake it through the air, it's completely dry. But that is something that takes a second to get used to. So if you pull it out and you have something that's wet, you're gonna notice that. There is one thing that I will say on that, which was this morning when I came down, there was a sock that had slipped into the door space under the little crack, and it was still wet because it was in the ring where the water drains around this blue down at the bottom. And that sock itself was not dry because all of the moisture that was draining around that door to go out the vent was catching on the sock. So I had one sock that was only partially dry, but everything else that's come out of here has been dry. Even when I put my huge king comforter in there, it still came out dry. So I've been very impressed with that overall. Another thing that I haven't loved is this blue ring itself, and I will insert a little video here. It has in the bottom some drain holes where everything goes out, but all the lint and dirt that doesn't go out of the actual machine itself comes down during the wash and gets pushed into those vents. And then sometimes when you open it, depending on if you had fuzzy socks in there or if you have somebody in your house with long hair, there is going to be a little bit of wet, nasty lint down in there. And I will say I don't love it, but I'm also glad to be able to pull that out and throw it in the trash. Some of it actually does, of course, go out the pipe system, but I would rather be able to pull it out and throw it away than have it get into the drain system itself. So love, hate, it's kind of gross sometimes. I've just been able to take a rag and wipe it out, and that hasn't really been a long-term problem. Now, earlier I mentioned one of the things that I love being the delay. I absolutely do love the delay. But one thing I don't love is it's a little bit of a pain to set up. And maybe they didn't anticipate people using it like me to where I'm delaying it every single time I'm using it almost daily. But that is something that I think could be easier on the interface. They could have a button here that said delay and you could just program in your time. Maybe a spin dial to go around until you get to that because this is a digital screen, something of that sort. I'll show you what it takes to do a delay really quick, just so you can see that it is a few extra steps. So first I'm gonna go to menu, down through a lot of the settings. All right, so delay start, select, and then I have remote start, delay start, time delay, 8 hours, 30 minutes. And then after you do all that, you've got to go back up to get out of this guy. And now if I hit start, it's gonna go ahead and do that cycle where it's pulling out the moisture. It sounds like a dryer actually going off, but then it sits here with the purple. The colors of the display indicate what's going on. Purple is your delay. When it's actually washing, this side is red, this side is pink / whatever. So you have blue and you have red or pink. Now, the time, the lights will actually go off as it continues around the circle to let you know approximately how much of each cycle is left, even though on the machine itself, it does give you a delayed readout. But the kids really like it because they can kind of follow along with the colors. So just kind of a neat thing. But the way the delay process works, I think could use a little bit of an update on the user interface. Another thing that I love / hate is any sort of technology connected to the internet. I don't like it. I don't like for anything techie like that to be online. I want everything to be independent. But the upside to that is I can download new cycles that they come out with from GE. If there are updates to their all-in-one machine, they will send them to us. So you don't have to purchase a new machine to have the latest system in your actual machine itself, which is amazing. If you can get over the fact that somebody else knows your wash and dry cycles and all of that, which, I mean, yes, there's security and it's as safe as anything else, right? But I personally just wish things weren't connected to the internet. That said, you don't have to connect it to the internet. You only have to connect it to the internet if you want to use the app on your phone. And I have to tell you guys, it's a huge hit. I really love it. So right now I'm not giving it up. If I had to give it up, I absolutely would. Speaking of the app, there's one thing I want to warn you. When you get a warning that you only have 5 minutes left until your load's over, it doesn't mean 5 minutes. This is one thing that I don't really love. It's not down to an absolute science because it uses a sensor to know how much moisture is still in those clothes. It doesn't know when it's exactly going to be done. So wait to come into the room until it tells you that it's done. If you have other chores that you're ongoing with, stick with them until you get the alert that it's done. I learned this morning. I needed to go out to the garden, but I thought I had just 5 minutes left on my clothes, so I was going to hang out inside. Turned out it was 10 minutes, and I could have got a head start on what I was doing outside and come in and grab those clothes still being just fine. So in the future, I'm going to wait till I have the finished or complete alert instead of coming down when I have the 5-minute alert. All things included for a family of 7 for an all-in-one machine that everybody and their dog told me not to buy because these things are slow and new tech is always bad. I have to say we've loved this machine. I've named it, she's Stella. I jokingly call her my sister wife, but Stella's here to stay barring something tragic happen. I do have 30 days for my date of purchase, so I have a couple more weeks before I actually am sold on the purchase completely to be able to send her back, of course, with a restocking fee, but I just don't foresee that happening. We've had 0 clothes sitting in the hampers waiting to go in the laundry. Every single day, all of our clothes have been clean. All of our clothes have come out really nicely, and we've been able to stay on top of our laundry with the help of the all-in-one system plus the app combining to send reminders to get stuff done. So if you're interested in revolutionizing the way you do laundry at your house, definitely give this guy a second look. Now, I will say I will be planning to do a 6-month update to let you guys know how it's going with the large family and an all-in-one. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. And also, if you're interested in all things homemade, homegrown, and homeschooled, this is the spot for you. So subscribe, and I'll see you back real soon.